Excellent. Hi everyone. I believe all of you know me, but just in case, my name is Dylan Winnick. I'm a sophomore studying security and risk analysis, and I'm running for vice president for membership. So some of my qualifications in SIDA and a couple other clubs I've been in here. I was the training chair this year, which taught me a lot about the importance of having more structure, because admittedly a lot of the training sessions were a little bit unstructured, mostly due to the fact that after a certain period of time, most members were the repeated people who already understood a lot of the intermediate training that they needed. I was director of logistics for both Funk and Punk, which taught me a lot about the importance of pre-planning events and having a consistent schedule that you can follow throughout the entirety of your tenure. I was a crisis director for both Punk and Funk, and that taught me a lot about managing crises and dealing with high-stress situations for an extended period of time. Outside of SIDA, I was the Vice President of Strategic Planning for United Nations Campus Advocates this year, and that really showed me a lot about the importance of working with other people and how to work on an executive board as an important position. In addition, I was serving as an integrity position, which I think taught me a lot about accountability. I was also the treasurer of Students Helping Honduras, which is a campus philanthropy org. And it was one of really my great joys to work with this organization because it did teach me a lot about the importance of service and helping others, and also dealing with finances over an extended period of time. In addition to the qualifications listed here, I've been a project manager for many philanthropic organizations over the course of my life. I've worked with charities such as Project Haiti, Goals Beyond the Net, and the Wounded Warrior Project doing service work. So as for my actual policies, the first thing I want to talk about is stewardship, which is a word people don't really hear very often. I've had the honor of being in SIDA during the tenure of very, very, very good VPs for membership. And I want to continue a lot of the work we've been doing. I want to keep the fall retreat and things like Assassins. I want to honor the legacy of the people who've come before me, and I want to make sure that I can take the best of what they've taught me and the best of what they've done as VP membership and move that forward into my tenure here. And while I do want to continue a lot of these policies and events, I think it also is my responsibility to view them critically and figure out ways to improve them, because ideas like shortening the length of Assassins, which I know Andrew Mickel talked about, and things like of that nature, which can help improve events we've already done in such a way as to move us forward in progression into making these events as good as possible. So one of my ideas for that's kind of more original is joint socials with other clubs, because we as a club have a lot of members who are in other organizations. I think we have friendly relations with other clubs, and I think that we should take advantage of that to spread awareness, because yes, if we do a social with, let's say, Volley, who's a club that we share an office with and are very friendly with, maybe no one in Volley will want to join SIDA. Maybe the interests don't align very much. But maybe one of them has a roommate who's into political science, and maybe that roommate would join. Because I've talked to people from other clubs, and the biggest thing they run into is, what's Model UN? Or isn't that really hard? Or like, what do you guys actually do? And I think increasing awareness is the first step to increasing membership, and I think joint socials are a good way to spread the word of what SIDA is, and also like who we are as people. We're fun, we're good, we're having a good time, we're cool people. I want people to know that, because I think that is one of the key things that we do that I think will make us a club that stands out to other people. And so some ideas for joint socials are things like movie nights, which are pretty easy to have more people at. It just invite more people. Joint philanthropic events. I'd like to increase the number of service work events that we do during the course of the year, because service is something that's very important to me personally. I think it's something that we should work on. And I just want to see us making connections. Club branding. I want to lower barriers to entry. I want to make sure that people feel comfortable joining the club and being able to enter in at the ground level, and just sort of becoming part of the family. I also would like to implement a membership point system. I want to give different points depending on participating in away conferences, staffing Punk and Funk, and going to mini-muns. I just want to give prizes both over the course for the end of the year and also each semester to encourage active participation throughout the year, not just at one point. Also, spring socials, I really want to have more of them. We have good time. I think the easiest way to do that is having a budget from the beginning of the year to the end that I can budget out for each social that will keep us having consistency over the course of the year. And finally, why me? I think that I bring a lot of qualifications and a lot of new ideas, and I'm incredibly passionate about this position, about this club, and I hope that you all can see fit to elect me for this position. Thank you. Good questions.
$1,000.
So if I was given $1,000 for VP membership, the first thing I would do would be budget. Yes, $1,000 is a lot of money, but I think it is not infinite money, and the important thing is making sure that an equal amount of money is given to each social throughout the year so that we can have a lot of socials and we don't run out of money early on.
So this is similar to the question I asked Megan. How would you make sure that the membership point system serves as a way to bring less engaged members into the fold instead of making them feel even farther behind?
Thank you. I think that is a very valid point. And I think that, first of all, like Megan said, the idea of not publicizing all the point system totals throughout the year will keep people from being aware of it. And I think the having semester-based point systems instead of just a solely year one, it will encourage people to consider, like, okay, I didn't do much last semester, but I can do stuff this semester because I can win the prize for the semester. Also making the prizes not like massive things. Like, I'm not going to give you like a resort getaway. It's like, it's something that, it's nice to win, but at the same time, it's not going to be like, I'm not giving you a scholarship. And it's going to be something that you can be happy about, but not something that you should feel bad if you don't win.
Thank you.
How do you plan to listen to the members of this club to figure out what the general body is looking for as far as membership opportunities go?
Very good question. I think, first of all, I'd like to talk to people. Like, you all know me, I talk a lot. I like to talk, I like to converse with a lot of people. And I want people to feel comfortable talking to me. And I think also, one thing I'd like to implement is feedback forms over the course of the year for each social. So if you really like the movie night we did, cool, I'll know to do more movie nights. If you're like, I think the pizza social didn't really go very well, maybe I shouldn't do that in the future. So I think keeping a continuous line of communication with me through polling, through anonymous polling, I think will be a key way of doing that.
Over the last year, you held, the number is correct, 5 leadership positions in the club. And over that time, you faced a lot of tribulation in those. I want to know what you've learned, why you learned it, and how you intend on implementing what you learned towards your position to make it as successful as you can.
Thank you. This is a very difficult question, because I think I did learn a lot this year. But one thing I want to kind of talk about actually is being the co-crisis director for the TCC at Fund this year. Originally, I was not chosen to have a committee, and I was selected by William Jupenlotz, who's the primary crisis director, to be his co-crisis director. And coming into that kind of later and not really having been part of the initial creation, I think that taught me a lot about working with individuals, because Will focused a lot on writing the overarching crisis and controlling the world. I was the one dealing with mostly the other staffers and the delegates. So I think that taught me a lot about interpersonal skills and how the importance of working with each person individually rather than just giving sweeping commands and expecting things to just kind of fall the right way. I think that's one of the key lessons that I learned over the course of this year.
36 seconds. It could be any kind of advice. How long would you be in 5?
So I would be the gear shift. In essence, when you're on a bike, there's a lot of different gears you can use, or at least for a lot of more advanced bikes. And importantly, I don't think every situation calls for the same solution. I think it's important to vary your response to things depending on the situation and perform each task with the effort and energy and focus that requires it. And I think that being a gear shift to me means approaching things in an adaptable way. And I think that's something that I would like to focus on a lot